I'm Austin Scheibmeyer. I am a neuroscience major, and my small group was with Jacqueline, and we called it Fignum Style because it was a first-year interest group. I'm Austin Scheibmeyer. I'm a neuroscience major, and I had a first-year interest group this year. My name is Austin Scheibmeyer. I am a neuroscience major, and I was involved in a first-year interest group this year. I think my biggest concern was trying to find the balance between academics and social activities and extracurriculars, and then also trying to make new friends, and I think both were definitely helped with the FIG.
In transitioning from high school into college?
I think the biggest concern that I had was being able to find the balance between academics and social work or extracurricular activities, figuring out how to manage my time, and also just trying to get involved. I knew I was going to get involved, but I was concerned about what I was going to get involved with and if I was going to have time to maintain good grades while being active in those groups.
Some concerns you have about that balance?
I think that was my biggest concern coming into college from high school, was trying to figure out the balance between my academics and my extracurricular activities and my athletic events and social events. And I guess after the first couple of weeks, you start getting into motion, you start figuring it out. So then my next concern was figuring out, how am I going to make friends? And one of the ways that I was able to start making friends was I joined several groups, which had also been a concern of mine, because you get to campus here, there's over 1,000 groups to join. I was like, well, what groups am I going to join? And through the couple groups that I've joined, like Triathlon Team and Hellraisers, I've made some very good connections. Well, we had a lot of different group activities that we did. That first half made us friends, so I had a little community in some of my classes with people that I was now comfortable with to be friends with. And then in regard to trying to find the balance, we had a lot of advice given at several seminars, and just having a FIG mentor and having that elder person who'd already gone through college and everything like that, and just their advice was very helpful in the transition.
As well.
Having the FIG mentor is definitely a very good thing. Like, I got to meet up with him one-on-one, and he's in some of the classes that he finished some of the classes that I'm in right now, and he was able to give a lot of advice, especially during the one-on-one, and that was really cool in itself, just being able to go somewhere new on campus and be able to talk. Because it's such a big campus, it's kind of hard to get one-on-one conversation with someone who can just help you out. So the FIG mentor position has definitely helped ease my transition, especially with academics. My small group provided a lot of opportunities for us to not only get to know each other, but also get to know the campus. We went on a scavenger hunt. We've had several seminars come in. We've been out to eat with them. They've showed us around several of the campus resources. And yeah, it's just been great having that group, be able to experience UT with that group. Well, the Sanger Learning Center tutorials have definitely been a plus, because we get 5 free sessions, so I'm still currently using mine. What else? The Career Design Center, I had to use the University Health Services because I got sick, and very easy pharmacy over there. The Student Services building is very nice, and yeah. I had to get a resume and a cover letter for some of the internships I was applying for positions, and so they were definitely really helpful in helping me improve those. And they also send out a lot of weekly emails with volunteer activities and a bunch of workshops that you can go to just benefit you. So I've tried to take advantage of as many of those as I possibly can. I definitely became aware of many of them through emails that we got through the university, but also definitely through the FIG. The FIG helped me become better aware of what was available on campus with all the resources.
Just together.
Yeah, it's definitely my FIG. Like I said, so now I have 20 to 30 kids in a class that I'm now comfortable with. I've been able to form study groups with them. We actually have a group message with our FIG mentor in it as well, so whenever we're stressed out or need some question answered, it's nice to be able to have a resource there to get that resolved. Well, it's been very convenient having my academic advisor be my FIG mentor, or my FIG leader. And well, she's helped me out so much, but I was definitely struggling with determining if I still wanted to be a neuroscience major, and she was just there to give me all the different options available, especially with the different degrees that I wanted to do, and she's helped me become acquainted with several of the certificate options that I could possibly do. Some of the resources I've used here on campus were the University Health Services, because I got sick, I needed medicine. That was a great resource over there in the Student Services building. I've also been to the Career Design Center. I have taken advantage of my free Sanger Learning tutorials, and definitely office hours have been a big help in my academic. I think the first place I visited was the University Health Services, which was in the Student Services building, because I got sick. I needed medicine. I didn't bring all the medicine that I needed down from my house here to campus, so that was a great resource. I've also been to the Career Design Center, and I've also taken advantage of my Sanger Learning free tutorials, and then finally office hours have definitely been a big help in my academics. It was definitely convenient having my academic advisor be my FIG leader. She's just been great, and it's definitely been good being able to have that opportunity to go and speak with her one-on-one, especially since she's a very busy person, and she can't just always be helping me. So, well, it was definitely convenient having my academic advisor be my FIG leader. It was nice being able to have some built-in access to get my questions answered, because as a freshman I came in not knowing very much at all, and so that was one of the experiences I had. Was I got to go into her office, and I was typical freshman. I was getting concerned about if this was a major that I really wanted to do, and she was able to provide me with all the different options, all the different tracks that I could do, all the different certificates I could partake in, and so that was a good experience. I did all three of those things. I didn't know we had the interactive degree audit until my FIG, and then through my FIG found out that that was possible, and so I've run at least 4 of those. I've tried to map out all 4 of my years here, and then I did all of those. I first found out about the interactive degree audit through my FIG, and once we became acquainted with it and were shown how to use it, I've definitely run at least 4 interactive degree audits. I've mapped out all 4 years, and that was through being able to find my degree plan online, and also being able to see the different degree options available was convenient, especially for my major. In one of my, in my undergraduate course, I needed help on my lab, and so I scheduled a time with my professor to go into her office hours, and I was definitely really stressed about my lab because it was a hard topic. I didn't exactly know um, how to get all the information that I needed and how to go on with the experiment. And she just pulled me into her lab and sat with me for 30 to 45 minutes and made me feel so at ease, and definitely helped get me on the right track. Definitely in my undergraduate studies course, which is the UGS course, um, I had a lab that I was working on, and I was very concerned on how to proceed with the experiment and how I was going to get my data. And I went up to my professor. I scheduled a time to meet with her since I couldn't make her office hours. And then she pulled me into her lab one day, took 30 to 45 minutes to spend talking to me and help me figure out how to resolve my issues and how to proceed with my experiment. And that definitely made me feel very at ease. And that was my first office hour experience, so I've definitely gone more and more now since seeing how positive it was.
Great.
It was definitely a big step. You're pounded in orientation by all the upperclassmen to go to office hours. It's one of the main things they tell you to do when you get to campus. And so I guess building up that courage for that, take that first step and finally go. It took me a little while, but I think my first time I went was in September. I finally gathered the courage to go. I made a little sheet of all the office hours for all of my classes and then saw which ones conflicted with my classes and which ones didn't. And then once I saw the open available ones, I was like, you know what, you need to go. Everyone says you need to go. And all the faculty are super nice, especially when it comes to being in their office hours. And so it was definitely really smooth once I finally approached them and started attending their office hours. When you get to college and when you start doing all sorts of different activities and getting advice from people, one of the main things they all say is go to office hours. It's been drilled in my head, and so about mid-September I finally started to gather the courage, and I made a list of all of my courses and then all their different times, and then I went through all of my course syllabi and made a list of all of their office hour times, and I saw which ones conflicted and which ones didn't. And finally, after doing that, I was like, you know what, you got to start going to these because they're open. You're not doing anything else in that time. And I've never had a bad office hour experience at all. Like, the faculty are very, very good about first-year students and getting them comfortable in that environment, and they're very good.
Like with them.
They were definitely very approachable and very easy to talk to, and definitely they just wanted to help you. They wanted to know all of our questions, and they took all the time to make sure that every one of our questions was completely answered. I think one of the interesting things I discovered was I actually really enjoyed my anthropology class. I had just signed up for it and was like, you know, I just got to get it out of the way, and no, I've really enjoyed it. Another thing, I didn't expect to join the triathlon club, and that's been a real treat being able to go to those practices and stay in shape, because that's another thing people tell you about in college is stay in shape. I heard about the freshman 15, but
This semester.
something I discovered this semester was my actual enjoyment of my anthropology class. I really just enjoyed the environment. I enjoyed the topics that we actually went over, and I definitely enjoyed my anthropology class, which I was not expecting. I really enjoyed the professor. I loved the class environment, and it's probably been my best class experience so far. And yeah, I've really enjoyed the course material. Coming into college, that was another big thing people were telling me about, was to stay in shape. You need both physical and mental health. And so I decided to join the triathlon club, which has been super fun. I've loved going to all the practices or all the practices I can make, and yeah, it's great to definitely have another support group here on campus. I joined the Longhorn Hellraisers, which are a spirit group, the people that paint their chests at the game and paint their faces, and it's definitely a way to get away from the academics and just go cheer on UT, and I've just really enjoyed being a part of that spirit group. Well, definitely that was one of the main things coming into college was people were telling me you've got to stay in shape. We've all heard of the Freshman 15. And so I joined the triathlon club, and I have made it to as many practices as I possibly can, the ones that don't interfere with my courses. And it's definitely just been great to have another support group on campus. And I also joined the Longhorn Hellraisers, which are a spirit group that go to all the sporting events and paint their faces and their chests. And I guess that's been a good way to get away from the academics. I know that I'm spending enough time studying and going to my courses, and so it's nice to have another group of people that I can go with and just enjoy my time here on campus. Coming into college, that was one of the most important things people were telling me. They said, you've got to stay in shape. We've all heard of the Freshman 15. And so I immediately joined the triathlon club just because it sounded like something I wanted to do. And after also adding to my list of courses and office hours, their practices, I've been attending as many practices as I possibly can. And it's definitely helped me stay in shape and stay focused on my goals here at UT. And then I also joined the Longhorn Hellraisers, which are a spirit group that paint their faces, paint their chests at the games, and it was great to have that outlet to go with a group of people, kind of get away from the academics here and just cheer on UT and just have an additional support group as well.
After coming to UT?
There are definitely a lot of differences between my time management in high school and my time management here. Here in college, I've had to study so much more. And also being independent, no one's here to wake you up in the morning. So I have to constantly be wary of how many hours I'm spending at night, what time I'm going to bed, because I have to get myself up in the morning. There's no parent there like there was in high school. And also with athletics, and I'm not involved in like a D1 sport right now, and I'm just in a club. I'm here for my personal fitness, whereas in high school I was on a team, so I was kind of held more responsible to that. So definitely I've had to learn how to get myself up and get to... Time management in high school was definitely completely different from time management in college. First off, in college I'm having to study a lot more, so I have to devote a lot of hours to those outside of being in a spirit club and being in an athletic club. And in regards to the athletics in high school, I was on several sports teams. I was being held accountable to go to all the practices, and I kind of had a fallback with I had my parents to help wake me up and get me up in the mornings and get me to practices if I needed that. Here in college, it's all you. You're independent, and so definitely having to learn how to be accountable as well and get myself to the gym, even if I don't have to, just to stay in shape, and also get myself to classes. And I've also had to be wary of what time I go to sleep at night, because I don't have someone to wake me up in the morning, and I have to get to all of my courses and office hours and practices. So being able to balance how much time I'm studying, how much sleep I'm getting, whether I'm going to an athletic event or not, I've had to learn how to balance all of those. I think the biggest surprise initially was I was in shock factor when I first got here about all the independence that I had, and I think the biggest surprise is all the opportunities you have here. There's over 1,000 clubs you can join, all sorts of things. No, we're not. I think the biggest surprise for me was all the independence we now are granted and given. Definitely figuring out how to transition into the adult world has definitely been the biggest shock to me. I remember the first few weeks I was like, trying to convince myself that this wasn't just some trip or vacation, and I wasn't just going straight back home, like I was actually living on campus. And then another big surprise to me was all the opportunities available here at UT and in the city of Austin. The city of Austin is just a hub of all sorts of different people, and especially campus as well. And so being able to figure out what internships are available to me, what all the different courses available, all the different social events, all the music festivals here in Austin. It's definitely been a good surprise to me. I love the fact that it's a group of people who have some of my same interests as well, and so we get to talk about what we want to be when we grow up, or if we're struggling with courses, there's always someone there to help get us through that. And I've also I've loved having my academic advisor be my leader, because she is always so busy, and it's kind of a time that she has to be with us, and she provides a lot of good information about resources and other seminars or workshops or things that we can be working on. That's definitely the most helpful thing about the FIG, in my opinion, was walking into biology and chemistry those first few weeks. Didn't really know anyone until after I met with my FIG, found out there were 20, 30 other people in my same situation, and we've all started sitting together. We formed a group message. We study sometimes together, so that's definitely been a big help. I would just say don't be afraid to be outgoing and put yourself out there. I think that's one of the best ways to make friends and get cultured into UT. And yeah, just take initiative and don't be afraid to, no. I would definitely say don't be afraid to put yourself out there and be outgoing. Definitely try new things. I think joining different groups was the best way I was able to make new friends here on campus. I would say put yourself out there, don't be afraid to try new things and take initiative. I think that was the best way I was able to make friends here on campus, was through the different groups that I joined and put myself, nope.
What would you tell me?
I would say don't be afraid to put yourself out there and take the initiative to join different groups and attend office hours. I know that was one of the ways, joining groups was one of the ways I was able to make a lot of friends, and then office hours helped me become better acquainted with the school and with the faculty here.